The great prophet Isaiah enjoins us to celebrate the joys of Yerushalayim. Simchu et Yerushalayim, v'gilu vah kol ohaveha, sisu itah masos, kol hamitabelim aleha. Be glad with her, rejoice in her, join in her jubilation, all those who have mourned over her. The psalmist wrote, B'shuv Hashem et Shivat Tzion hayinu kecholamim. When God restores the restoration of Zion, we see it as a dream. Yom Yerushalayim is the challenge of waking up from this dream and seeing that it's really a reality. We have been praying and praying. V'tehazena einenu b'shuvcha l'Tzion. May our eyes see the return of God to Zion. Ki ayin be'ayin yiru b'shuv Hashem Tzion. Those who have mourned over Jerusalem will merit to see its joy. Zocheh v'ro'eh b'simchata. Rav Kook explained that not everyone will merit to experience the joy of the rebuilding of Yerushalayim. Yerushalayim is being built right in front of our eyes. Can you imagine having been told that you once were privileged to stand in the most beautiful place in the entire world, yet chas v'shalom, you didn't grasp its beauty? Asara kabin yofi, yardu la'olam, tish'a natla Yerushalayim. The Gemara in Kiddushin speaks of the 10 measures of beauty that have descended to the world. 9 of those 10 are right here in Yerushalayim. We were studying this week the book of Zechariah. Our ancestors read it, studied it, analyzed it, cherished it, deeply believed that it will all be fulfilled. But we learn Zechariah and we see its fulfillment live in the streets of Yerushalayim. This never happened before the modern state of
it. There's a commentary that it will keep on multiplying until the streets are full of children.
Where's that? Yeah, right. In other words, filled. Yimalu, right? It says Yimalu, not just, right? Good point, Rabbi. It's not just that they will be in the streets of Yerushalayim. Yimalu, they'll be filled. Yeah, and I read in one commentary that who are these children? It's interesting. The Al-Sheikh says, it's an early commentary, maybe 16th century. He says, notice the order. It first says that there'll be elderly men and elderly women, and then it says young children, young boys and young girls. So I always learn, he's talking about the two sides of the population. There'll be old people, elderly people, and younger people. He says these younger people will be the children of the older people, because the blessing of Yerushalayim will be that even people beyond a certain age, we'll be able to bear children, we'll be able to father children, we'll be able to mother children.
I believe that.
What? That's the Rechavot Ha'ir Yimalu, man. The Rechavot Ha'ir Yimalu Yiladim Yiladot, connected to the Zkenim V'Zkenot. There's a Zkenim V'Zkenot. So I don't know, but I mean, there are surely many people in Yerushalayim. And we know a woman in Yerushalayim, in this neighborhood, who had her child at the age of, I think, 52 years old. I'm not saying that.
What? A few weeks ago.
She lives here in Maladah, 52-year-old, 53-year-old.
To twins at 64 years old.
Yeah, I've heard in the 60s.
She lied, or she with fertility treatments, or naturally?
I don't know.
This woman, so maybe it's
There's another one in 47 she has.
Sarah Imenu gave birth at the age of 90.
Thank God.
Hashem gave her.
God bless her. And we have a tradition. We have a tradition. It's not explicitly in the Torah. We have a tradition that the mother of Moshe gave birth at the age of 130.
That's right.
Yocheved.
30
yes.
or 127?
I think 130. 130, yeah. So I don't know what this means, but this is so beautiful. And maybe every time you see children in the streets of Yerushalayim. Let's say sometimes you walk on Shabbat afternoon and you see, thank God, the streets of Yerushalayim filled with children. What are you supposed to think? You're supposed to think that we were waiting that we were waiting for so long for this to happen. Let's enjoy it. Let's let's not. I know that sometimes it's disturbing to certain people that there are many papers on the floors of certain neighborhoods, a certain litter or something. It's not perfect. It's not perfect, and maybe some of the many children who are filling the streets, maybe they take some of the wrappers of some of the ice cream of the land that flows with milk and honey, and they throw it maybe on the streets of Yerushalayim also. It's not only filled with children, maybe sometimes it's filled with the children's deposits, but that's part of being a child. It's not they're not supposed to behave like adults. The children. And part of being a child is being a child.
The city's
What?
It's the city's fault, not the children's fault. They don't have enough garbage cans.
I'm not playing. And this word misachakim.
This is me.
That the word misachakim.
Doing everyone's picture.
That the word misachakim means, to play. To play. That maybe. The Mitzudat David writes.
Excuse me.
He says there'll be such joy in the city. Now, generally speaking, all over the world, in every state, in every city, children play. But he says there'll be this jovial, optimistic mood.
No.
We need the young people to build Yerushalayim. We need little children to build Yerushalayim. We need the people who will be sitting in the streets of Yerushalayim. We need the people who will be playing in the streets of Yerushalayim. That's who is part of holiness. Somebody once wrote a letter to a teacher. They gave 2.5 hours of homework at night after sitting in school. What do you want from them? He says, no, I want them to become, scholars. Wonderful, but part of being a child is playing. And you have to leave time. And you have to leave time for children to play. And that's part of the perfection. And especially part of the prophecy. That means that's part of the building of Yerushalayim. That children play on the streets of Yerushalayim, not playing ball, or throwing a ball, or riding a bicycle, or whatever else they're doing. With a scooter or a kite in the car. There are at least 2 readings of Psalm 128. Yivarechecha Hashem mitzion ure'ei b'tuv Yerushalayim kol yimei chayecha. The way most understand this verse is that God is promising a special blessing from Zion, so much so that we will experience the good of Yerushalayim forever. We are being instructed to see the good of Yerushalayim. The critical eye can seek to find that which is imperfect in Yerushalayim. But the Torah view, the positive message of Yom Yerushalayim is, Urei b'tov Yerushalayim, kol yimei chayenu. May we merit to see the myriads of heavenly blessings here in Yerushalayim right now. And through that positive outlook on Yerushalayim, we will celebrate Yom Yerushalayim as the pathway leading us all back to the holy city. In the words of Isaiah 51, Uftuye Hashem Yeshuvun, Uvau Tzion Birina, V'simchat Olam Al Rosham, Sason V'simcha Yasigun, V'nasu Yagon V'anaham. The redeemed of the Lord shall return, and they will arrive in Zion with joyous singing. There will be everlasting joy on their heads. All sorrow and sighing will be removed, and they shall obtain true joy and gladness. We look forward to celebrating together with each of you Yom Yerushalayim this Yom Yerushalayim here in Yerushalayim. Shalom Aleichem. Thank you.